Somebody help, please. One more person.
इसको देखना है। वापस से
Yeah, you can just keep it on the floor like all the way to his walls. Little more. that working? Maybe we can make it a little low. That one.
Yes.
Everybody can hear? Yes? Good. Please close the door. Come and receive the books, thanks to an anonymous donor. Your wife also has come?
Yeah.
Ah, namaskar. What's your name? Usha Kamusha. This side needs some attention. I want to see you again. Yes. Come and see. Come and sing. Everybody got? Going, gone? Yeah. Let's see what it has. Dhyana shlokas are not there. We'll be starting with some verses which are Gita Dhyana shlokas. They talk about both the vision of Vedanta and they also talk about the glory of the Gita. But probably we'll not get to that today. We will get it by tomorrow. I just opened it to a random page in the front, looking for Dhyana shlokas, but I found an interesting verse here, the beginning of which is Gita Sugita Kartavya. Gita Sugita Kartavya. Kim anyaihi Shastra Sangrahaihi. Very nice. Interesting verse. This is the first line of this verse. This is from the Mahabharata, declaring the glory of the Bhagavad Gita. It says, the Gita has to be studied very well, has to be understood extremely well. And then it goes on to say, if the Gita is studied very well, then what is the use of all the Shastras? Meaning, there is no need to study anything else. This is how complete this Grantha is. So we can start off there and look at the position of the Bhagavad Gita. Today we'll just have an introduction. The position of the Bhagavad Gita in the compendium of the Shastra, and then see why it has been given this place, and then what is the purpose of this teaching, etc. We will be looking at all those things. Now, we have in the tradition Prasthanatrayam. Prasthanatrayam means a threefold set of scriptures and that need to be understood. It's not really about study, it's about understanding. You can keep on studying as an academic. But this is not an academic pursuit. This is a pursuit for stopping all pursuits. That is the pursuit. So we approach it differently. We are not trying to get something and, that kind of, what is that called? Catch, kill, eat mentality, which was there long ago. When did I have catch, kill, eat mentality? In the previous Janma, when one was a tiger, big cat, lion, and what are they called? Hyena. You know hyena? Yeah. If you see National Geographic, all these animals will be there. So this kind of a mentality is still there within the jiva. Jiva means the one who complains. Okay, that's the only difference between Ishvara and jiva. Ishvara never complains. When did you find Ishvara complaining? Never. Jiva also never stops complaining. That's the only difference. Jiva does not stop complaining. That's why Jiva, full of pet peeves. Piva. That's what Jiva is. And so now, the Prasthanatrayam means this compendium of works deriving from the Upanishad, which is Apaurusheya. Apaurusheya means not human-made. Human beings are not in charge of it. We call it revealed. In every religion, it is revealed, they say. Because if it is human-made, notice I'm not saying man-made, okay? Yeah, we should say human-made. So, because now we are in which year? 2025. Yes, we have to progress. So it is not human-made. If it's not human-made, it is Bhagavan-made, Ishvara-made. And why is it Ishvara-made? Because when the jivas are there proliferating this planet or maybe any other planet in other alternative universes, we create problems. Yes, we are the only beings in the world that know how to create confusion, how to create problems. You look at all other life forms, they are living in harmony. They are living in a state of harmony with everything that is. The oak tree is not jealous of the mango tree and does not say, what is this? Grandfather was what? Oak. Grandmother, oak. And then great-grandmother, oak. Great-grandfather, oak. I come from oak parampara and I'm bored of being oak, coming from oak. And then what will my children be? Oak. This is not okay with me. This is not at all okay with me. I can't handle it. I'm sick of being in the forest. I can't even see the view very well. And look at the mango tree, how nice it is. And it gives fruits. I give only acorn, something like that. And then look at the palm tree, coconut tree. It's always having sea view, beach view. I don't have beach view, not even beach. Beach may I have beach view. I have no beach view. Therefore, what I have to do? I'm getting up. I'm just now, from now on, I'm either going to the beach or I'm going to start producing mangoes. Does not happen. Oak tree, okay with being what it is. Same thing with all the other animals. Dogs, cats, those are the most familiar we are with because they are the ones kept as pets. The dog does not think anything. Oh, I am unwanted. Nobody loves me. Nobody cares. What's wrong with me? I don't have a degree. I never went to college. For that matter, I also don't have a pedigree. And so I have problems. I have complexes. Why do you have complex? Well, my owner cut me to look like a tree because I'm a poodle. You know, the poodle, they make some funny things. I'm not going for a walk. I can't be seen outside like this in public. Does the dog say that? No? One ear is like this, the other ear is like that. I'm not going out. I need a plastic, what is that called? Surgery, cosmetic surgery to fix this problem. It never thinks that. And we know that. We know from seeing it, even though we may not speak the language, we know from seeing it that the dogs are not thinking like that. Much less do they have a judgment centered on the I. Nobody cares, nobody loves me. Everybody is wanting to get rid of me. Even the dog in the Anekatti ashram, which was there and which we were all trying to actively get rid of, never thought that. So one day it was sent in the van that goes shopping to the town. It was sent there, and then the van people dropped it off on market day in the next village called Tadagam. They dropped it off there. Then they went to Coimbatore, and then they purchased everything, whatever all the people in the ashram. Don't call yourselves inmates, okay? Yeah, that has a different different connotation. So then by the time the van came back, guess who was waiting at the ashram gate? Yeah, and it was wagging the tail. In fact, the tail was wagging the dog. It was just shaking because the tail was shaking so hard. It was happy to see them, no judgment. How could you do this to me? I have been so good to you. No, it is not there. This is the problem. A sense of judgment. And people say, oh, it's all in the mind. It's not the mind. Wherever the I notion is, ahankara, I notion. Wherever the I notion rests, that is where the judgment seems to be there. And this judgment is relentless. Two things we can say about the judgment. First is it is relentless and never ending. And the second thing about the judgment is that it is universal. You ask somebody in China, do you have self-judgment? What will they say? Yes. I do. If they are honest, they'll say that. If they are not in denial, they will say that. You ask somebody in Alaska, do you accept yourself unconditionally? What will they say? No. Every which way you see, I am a wanting person. Wanting. Every which way. Nothing is completely all right. It's not all right at all. That's why in America we have this very interesting hand gesture. What does this mean?
Kind of sort.
So, kind of, sort of, maybe. So, chalta hai. Sometimes not so good, sometimes okay. For everything we do this. How is life? How is the job? Meaning, the pay is good, but the drive is terrible. How are the children? They are teenagers. Then dare we ask the last question. What is the last question? How is the marriage? Then it's a veritable tremor. So, this problem of self-judgment, self-non-acceptance, self-critique is a relentless problem. The only saving grace is that it is universal. So we can say, thank God I'm not the only one. I also have self-judgment. And then what? You can tell your friend, you also have self-judgment. He also has self-judgment. She also has self-judgment. So what shall we do? Start a support group. That's all we can do. But this is not a lasting solution. It's just based on the maxim, misery loves company. Let's all be sinking together. Not syncing, not that kind of a sinking. SINKING. That's why we call it sad sang. Everybody sat and sang sad songs. That's all it is. It's not a lasting solution. We have this many different kinds of in-between interim therapy for this pain, for this sorrow, for this self-judgment caused by this self-judgment. We have all this. You can go shopping. It's known in some self-aware circles as retail therapy. You buy a few things and then suddenly you feel better. Only until you look in your bank balance. Then you feel bad again. Because why did I go? Why did I spend all this? What's wrong with me? When will I learn? All these thoughts come. Why am I doing this? Etc., etc. Or you can go to the movies. Sometimes the movies are sadder than your own life. Yeah, they are called art films. In rural India, if you try to play a film like that, they will throw rotten tomatoes and walk out. It will be a big flop. Because why do you go to the film? Why do you go to the movies? To forget. To forget this relentless self-judgment and self-critique and self-non-acceptance. I go to the movies, and even there is what? There is just the same old, same old. But movies generally, if they are the kind of movies that Bollywood has become famous for, running around trees and belting out songs, yes, for 5 minutes, one can forget oneself. For 2 hours, one can forget oneself. Then what? Welcome back. Welcome back to what? Self-judgment, self-non-acceptance, self-critique, and the sorrow and the fear caused because of this. Relentless it is. You can go places. You can go for a holiday. You can go apply for a 3-month course, which is actually a smart thing to do. You can go for a cruise. You can go to some kind of a package tour, 10-day tour. They have Rajasthan 10-day tour. What is that called? There's one train. Yes. Palace on something. On wheels, yes. Palace on wheels. It's like you're staying in a palace, but it is going every night. It's going every night. You spend in the train, and during the day you get out and see things. So as long as one is not spending time with oneself, then one is okay. As long as my energy, my jnanendriya means sense organs, are focused outside. As long as I'm focused on somebody else's life, my life looks eminently better. This is the problem. Because the minute I sit down by myself, and then you have to have no devices, okay? No smartphone, no internet, nothing. And then you try sitting like that. This is the definition of a jnani, the one who is not perturbed even after just being by themselves. Atmani eva atmana tushtaha sthita prajnaha tada uchyate. This is the definition of a person of self-knowledge. But one is not there yet. One cannot sit still even for 5 minutes without the bubbles of self-doubt, diffidence, hesitation, judgment, non-acceptance, and critique come out relentlessly and bother me. This is why the Shastra is needed. Because we have tried everything. The Shastra is always the last resort. Really, think about it. Shastra is the last resort. Nobody says out of joy. I would say nobody. Almost no one says out of joy. Everything is going wonderfully in my life, and then I'm going to embark on a study of Vedanta. You won't find that. Very, 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 very rarely. Is there one Adi Shankara? Is there one Ramana Maharshi? Is there one Swami Dayananda Saraswati? Very, very rarely. Usually, nothing works. Did this, did that, went here, went there. All the holidays have been taken. And then what? The holiday means what? You go near a body of water, beach, lake, pond. Or what else do? You go to the mountains. Or a combination of two sometimes. You go to the desert just to see what it's like. That's about it. What else can you do? You have exhausted everything. Human relationships. You're in relationship with one person, you have seen it all. Same thing. And the person who has had many experiences, everybody has had many experiences, but the person who learns from them that all this is finite. What I want is the infinite. Whole of the life, in fact, I will say many, 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 many lives goes in trying to make the finite infinite. Anything that I encounter, this is a very important maxim. anything that I encounter is what? Temporary. Whatever I touch is temporary. Whatever I can see is temporary. Whatever I can sense is temporary. Whatever I can infer, anumana, arthapatti, is temporary. Whatever I can sense is temporary. In short, whatever I can objectify is what? Temporary. Then somebody said, that's why the whole universe is temporary. In fact, the truth of the universe is what? Shunya, zero. Maybe a sound argument. Sound argument means what? An argument which just makes a sound. That's all. Sound argument, how can this be a sound argument? The truth of this world is zero. Who is saying it? Our hero is saying the truth of the world is zero. How can I, with a straight face, say that there is nothing? Who am I? Am I existent or non-existent? You're scaring me, okay? Yeah. Show me one sign of life at least. Existent or non-existent? So when the existent entity says that everything is non-existent and the truth is non-existent, isn't there some kind of a logical problem here? Why? Because I am trying to negate myself. The negator cannot be negated. This is another maxim that I want us to really think about. The negator cannot be negated. And just because you picked up a few Sanskrit words, mithya, which really does not have an English translation. Dependent reality. In Buddhism, they call it dependent origin. Everything has dependent origin. Mithya. And everything you can say mithya, 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 mithya. But if the person who says mithya is also mithya, then what? When there is no nitya, no permanent, nothing permanent. Okay, let that be so. Let me be like a petal that keeps unraveling, unraveling, unraveling. Inside is nothing. Let me be like a, what is that other example? Onion. You keep peeling, 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 peeling. Not a very appealing example in an ashram. That's why I was hesitating. But you keep peeling, 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 peeling. After that, what? Nothing. This does not sit well in the heart. Because already I was feeling I'm no good. No good means as good as nothing. Before I came to this study, and if I'm told I am continuing to be nothing, then it may offer some solace in the interim, but it is not, it does not sit well with what I know. What is it that I know? That the I does not shut up, cannot keep quiet. Aham, aham, aham iti sakshat sakshi rupena bhasate. It is in the form of the ever-present witness, which is shining, how? By itself. I shine by myself. Shine means I know that I am. If I ask the question, are you here? Yeah, after a little while, the answer comes. Let me think, is this a trick question? So, are you here? Yes, it should be a resounding yes, not a hesitating yes. Are you here? Yeah, exactly. Yes. Asti no, asmi. Asmi. Yes, I am. And this is an undeniable fact. And I know it's a fact. Why? Because I am the proof of my own existence. I don't need to ask you. Shh, come here. Do I exist? Yeah. You don't need to ask. Similarly, if I ask you the question, do you exist? Are you here? You don't need to turn to your significant other. Do I exist? Puja Swamiji would always joke, "Pooch ke bataunga." Nobody says, "Pooch ke bataungi." Nobody says, "I'll ask and then let you know." No, there's nothing to ask. If somebody says, "Can I come to your house?" Then you ask, "Okay, when are we free? When shall we host this person?" That's a different thing. But are you here? There is no asking that is needed. There is only telling, yes. This is an undeniable fact. That I am is not subject to doubt. You ask anybody, anywhere, do you exist? And the person will look you up and down. I exist, but what about you? The kind of questions you're asking, I have my own doubt. Yes, I exist. Undeniable fact. This is what we call the self-effulgent, self-evident self. I know. See, when I say I am, what am I saying? I know I am. This I am, Sat, and I know, Chit, Sat, Chit, always together. I am, Sat. I exist, Sat. I know of my existence, Chit, knowledge, knowingness. I am a knowing being. How long are you a knowing being? Are you here now? How about now? 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 See? And what is now? That which never comes to an end is now. Ananta. That Ananta is what I want. The whole world hankers after this Ananta. Infinitude, permanence, Nityatvam, eternity, however you want to talk about it. The whole world hankers after this Ananta, so much so that the Shastra herself has changed the Ananta into Ananda. That which is infinite is the source of Ananda. Because what is Ananda? I want something to continue all the time. Certain things that I want in my life, I want it to continue. And what is that? I want it to be permanent. Like I said, many lifetimes have gone trying to make the temporary permanent. That is the cause for marriage also, because we want something permanent. And that's the cause for buying a house. Why not just rent? No, I want something permanent. And even if you say to somebody, I got a job, what are they likely to ask you? Is it permanent? Do you want the job or do you want the permanence? Really? The job becomes a conduit, a nimitta, a way to this permanence that I seek. And this is why, as Acharya Swamiji said so nicely in the morning class, one wants to live forever if one had the chance. Angam galitam, palitam mundam, dashana vihinam, jatam tundam, vriddho yati grihitva dandam, tadapina munchati asha pindam. Very nice and alliterative verse from the Bhajagovindam. Angam galitam. The bones have done what they know best how to do, get osteoporosis. The bones have started to melt. Palitam mundam. The head has lost all of its hair. And the jaws are without teeth. Dentures don't count. No cheating here. Okay? Yeah. Then Here goes an elderly person with the help of a danda. Danda means stick. Carrying behind a huge, what is that called? Knapsack, a backpack of Asha. What is Asha? Not the wife's name. Okay, yeah. Asha here means desires. A big potli. Potli means a sack of desires. All bent over. Can't even walk, dragging himself with the help of a stick, but making sure not to leave the desires on the way. No, 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 still there will be some time. Sometime I will finish this. Sometime I will go to, where is that people go to? Kailas, Manasarovar. Now it's easy. You just get into a helicopter, I hear. I want to go here, I want to go there. I want to do this, I want to do that. In the West, this is very common. All the things one wants to do, one puts it on a list. And this list, it has a name. What is it called? Bucket list. Before I kick the bucket, which is a euphemistic way of saying die, I want to do all these things. Bucket list. No Hindu should make a bucket list, I tell you. Why? We have all the time in the world and beyond. In fact, at the funerary rites, we say, this time so many of your desires could not be fulfilled. Better luck next time. May you come back in a body that's conducive to all your desires. And everybody, each one says this. I could not be a very good offspring to you. May you next time have the kind of offspring you wanted. I could not be a good spouse to you. May you have the better spouse next time, the kind you want. No Hindu should make a bucket list for two reasons. One reason I have just told you, because we have punarjanma. We have life after life after life, and there is plenty of time. We don't have to hurry up and try to do everything right now. The second reason no Hindu should make a bucket list is because the ultimate goal of life is to know that one is free of being a wanting person. The ultimate goal of life is to know that the I that is unfolded by the Upanishad, the self that is unfolded by the Upanishad, the Atman means I. The I that is unfolded by the Upanishad is not subject to kshaya, decay, not subject to jara. What is jara? Geriatry. That's how the word geriatry has come from, jara, old age. Not subject to vyadhi, afflictions. Not subject to dukkha, janma, marana, sorrow, birth, death, or any of the vikaras, any of the modifications that we talk about. The I of the Upanishad is free of fear and sorrow. It remains in its own glory, unperturbed by everything that or anything that is going around oneself. Why? Because everybody is nothing but you. No, 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 you don't understand. How can everybody be me? This is not real at all. In fact, it's because of the other person that I'm sad. We don't say that. In the tradition, we have another maxim. You spot it, you got it. If there is something that bothers me about somebody else, the hook is here. The source of that botheration is here. There is something that's bothering me inside myself, which I'm unwilling or just plain unable to look at. And therefore, this problem of self non-acceptance is and as though, you'll see me do this a lot. In fact, sometimes I joke I should just have inverted commas made and hung on nylon strings. As though the sorrowful self the judgmental I, the sorrowful I, the I that is subject to fear is what? Is as though superimposition upon the truth of myself, which is free of all the things that we are talking about. So the I that I know is an I that is mistake. It's a mistake. It's a mistaken I. If it's not a mistake, it's a mistake. Doesn't matter how you take it. It's a mistake. What is our stock example to show this mistake? Rope, snake. Twilight. This is a typical Vedanta example. Rajju sarpavat. In twilight, I go there, see something with three bends, like this. And the top of it is like that. Immediately, what conclusion? What do I say? Snake. Before I say snake, I say eek. Then I say snake. It causes in me nivritti. I feel like running away. I'm afraid. But that's why we are always carrying and married to our mobiles all the time. Oh, am I going to make a phone call? No, no, no. What am I going to do? Shine the light. Every mobile has one flashlight feature. Shine the light on this three-bended snake. Definitely it must be a cobra. It has a split tongue. What did it turn out to be? Rope. In fact, my seeing the snake was just aropa. That's what it is. No, but it had a split tongue. No, that was just a frayed rope. Whether the rope was frayed or not, it made me afraid, very afraid. This is how the understanding of the I is full of mistakes. And who is making this mistake? Myself. And if I am the cause of this mistake, I cannot remove this mistake. Why? Because a lot hangs around this mistake. What do you mean a lot hangs around this mistake? Because living with the mistake for a number of lifetimes, I get attached to the mistake. I get identified with the mistake. In fact, it's like something that one gets used to, like an old skin disease that never leaves. So I get used to it. One gets used to having it. And if it's not there, you feel uncomfortable almost. You can't imagine it not being there. So in the same way, one cannot imagine leading one's life without the mistake. This is the original mistake, that I am not acceptable, that I am an idiot, that I am not okay. And this mistake has continued. And this is how I see myself, with the veneer, the glasses of subjectivity, which makes me commit a mistake on this I that is free of mistakes. Then the same glasses of subjectivity. And what are those glasses of subjectivity? Nobody loves me. This is my premise. Nobody cares. I am not acceptable, either to me or to anybody else. This series of beliefs, wrong beliefs, mind you, direct all my pursuits. Each and every pursuit is to try to fill up the lack, to fill up the wanting person. Because I take the wanting person to be real, the one that wants love, the one that wants attention, the one that is afraid, the one that needs comforting, the one that is sorrowful, the one that needs its eyes to be wiped by a kindred soul. This is who I take myself to be. And as a result, what happens? I structure my life, and the entire gamut of the pursuits, whether it's Artha Kama, mostly Artha Kama all alone, comprises the whole gamut of pursuits. All the pursuits are because of this sense of lack. Because of this, all these pursuits are there. So you see how costly this mistake is. First, I have a distorted sense of myself, and somebody can say, so what? It's my own view of my own self. What is it to do with you? Let me have a distorted perception of myself. What does it matter to you? No problem at all. But you see how the distorted sense of myself has bled into directing all of my actions. All? Yes. 100% of my actions are directed by these nagging, gnawing thoughts. Gnawing and annoying thoughts. This is how all my pursuits, all my actions are directed towards stopping this wanting feeling, fulfilling this wanting I. And therefore, you see, it's not just a mistake, simple personal mistake. It has become a universal mistake. It has become a collective mistake. It is based on this wrong perception of the I that I direct my education, job, life partner, everything based on this. And this subjective understanding of the self is not something acceptable to me. If I was happy being sad, then we would not be having these talks. All the swamis would be out of a job. We would be unemployed. Why? Because everybody is happy being sad. Then we would congratulate each other if something bad happened. Oh, congrats. Oh, a thug picked at your purse and took it away. Congrats. But we don't do that. We commiserate when something bad happens. We congratulate when something good happens because that is what I want. I know this I. I know this I that is free of sorrow. I know this I that is free of despair. I know this I that is free of fear. Why? How? Because I encounter it daily. Where? Where do I encounter it? When I sleep. Whether the sleep occurs in the Vedanta class or outside, doesn't matter. Best sleep comes in Vedanta class. You can ask me in the satsang. I'll tell you. I don't want to get away from this trajectory now. Wherever the sleep comes, when the sleep comes, all the problems go away. No problem at all. That's why everybody loves to be asleep. Nobody wants to get up. Especially in the cold weather at 4 o'clock in the morning. Even a ton of tea will not wake the person up. Person doesn't want to wake up. Because what happens when I wake up? As soon as I wake up, my problems also stretch. What? Oh, problems also wake up along with me. When I was asleep, what happened to the problems? They were also asleep. Is there self-judgment in sleep? No. There is no self-loath. There is no self-critique. There is no self-non-acceptance. In fact, the musician, a very, very important musician who is very famous, does not snore in Shruti. They would not be caught dead because they have pitch perfect tone. But then in sleep, what happens? No Shruti. In Apaswara, they have what is called snoring. Sound sleep. Sleep that makes a sound. They don't this thing. They don't sleep. They don't snore in ornate notes. Far from it. And even a model, somebody who's very famous on the runway, chiseled features and everything, and walking like this and everything. In sleep, she will have her mouth open, drooling from one side. No self-consciousness, no self-judgment, nothing. That's why sleep is very dear. And sleep is a form of mini moksha every day. True it is. Mini moksha, sleep is. But in sleep, I'm not there to enjoy it. That is the reason why we need this pursuit, because sleep, like everything else, is temporary. Even if you are Kumbhakarna, you can only sleep for 6 months a year. Who was Kumbhakarna? Ah, brother of Rama, you said? Yeah, okay. If you said Rama, see me after class. Ravana, the villain of the Ramayana, his brother. Actually, he was just very tamasic. And Ravana did a lot of tapas, standing on one leg and everything. And he knew Shiva will appear with a boon. 2 boons Shiva came and gave. So he pushed his brother, ask for Nitya, ask for Nitya. Nitya means infinitude, permanence. The fellow didn't hear properly and he said Nidra, means sleep. He was huge, like King Kong he was. And immediately, and Lord Shiva said, Tathastu, so be it. And he fell over there sleeping. Ravana was very cross. Look at what you've done. How am I going to get him home? He's like a mountain. Right there. And take it back. Lord Shiva says, no, I can't take it back. No, then what can I do? This other boon you have, you can use that to mitigate this. So that's how he was awake for 6 months, asleep for 6 months. We can't be like Kumbhakarna. Even Kumbhakarna has to wake up for 6 months of the year. We have trouble staying asleep for 6 hours, forget 6 months. So the solution has to be elsewhere. Cannot be in sleep. Cannot be also in the momentary snatches of happiness. Sometimes you can just forget about everything and laugh, like with a joke. And one 8-year-old child told me this joke. Why? It's a riddle. Why was the mathematics book very, very sad? Why? Because it was full of problems. So, silly joke, but we laugh. We think it is cute because a young child told it. We can laugh. And sometimes, as Pujya Swamiji would illustrate, we can laugh even without a joke. You know how? Pujya Swamiji told a joke once, long back in a class. Everybody laughed, except one man did not laugh. Serious he was, looking around. Then 1 week later, he came to Swamiji. He could not stop laughing. Swamiji, ha 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 ha. What? Tell. You know that joke you told last week? I just understood it right now, Swamiji. And Swamiji said, what did you understand? Then he told what he understood. And then Swamiji laughed. To this day, we do not know what the joke was. But you see, the original laugh, we have 4 laughters, okay? Without knowing the topic of the joke. First laughter was when Swamiji told the joke, everybody laughed. Second laughter was when this man laughed. Third laughter was when this man told Swamiji what he thought the joke was, and Swamiji laughed. And the fourth laughter is when? Now, when we are all laughing, hearing about this whole saga. But this laughter, this happiness, at best appears to be elusive, does not appear to stay. But I know that this is how I'm supposed to be. Nobody says the truth of myself is dukkha. Even the saddest person will say there is something wrong. Even the pharmaceutical companies know that I am supposed to be not anxious. I means the individual. The individual is not supposed to be depressed, not supposed to be anxious. And they haven't studied any Upanishad, the pharmaceutical companies. They still know the nature of the self. It is there. Like a note, like a high note which you cannot reach while singing. So you point to it. Like, okay, it's over there, but I can't reach it, but it is there. Similarly, this most desirable I is very much there. If it was totally unexperienced, if this I was not experienced, not a matter for experience, not a matter for understanding, there would be no craving for this I. Because simply, you cannot want a thing that you do not know. You can't want a thing that you do not know. Oh, but I want heaven. But you do know about heaven. Somebody has come and, peddled heaven. Like the glossy brochures of various destinations. Somebody has talked about heaven. That's why there is the wanting. You can't want what you don't know. So this I that is riddled, that appears to be riddled with pains, sorrows, fears, the I that appears to be always complaining, always judgmental, including self-judgmental, knows that this is not the case. Everybody knows that the truth of me, somewhere they know, everyone knows the truth of me is a non-demanding, non-judgmental, objective, compassionate, free person. This is the truth of me, everybody knows. This is not seen because the force of the samskaras, the force of the wrong beliefs and the mistakes that are constantly reinforced because of my association with all the people reinforce my mistakes, I reinforce their mistakes, and it's a mistake that keeps continuing, keeps getting born and reborn and reborn all the time. That's why I cannot be in charge of knowing the truth of myself. Even though there is a adage, physician, heal thyself. But the one suffering from bhavaroga is the roga of becoming. Bhava means to become. Bhavaroga is samsara roga, the disease of wanting to become something or the other because I'm never satisfied with who I am. So the bhishak for the bhavaroga cannot be the rogi himself. The rogi cannot be the bhishak because the rogi means the one who has this roga, the diseased person, cannot give themselves a remedy. Because if it's not just the body that is diseased, the emotional makeup is diseased, the antakarana is diseased, the inner instrument, the mind, etc., has got this disease of pursuing things and getting things and trying to gain approval. So the same infrastructure cannot be its redemption. The answer has to come from outside. That's why we have prasthanatrayam. One is the Upanishad, Apaurusheya. Apaurusheya means not human-made, and revelation of Bhagavan. It's like the Vedas are like the instruction booklet that we crave. Sometimes we say, I don't know how to lead my life. There is no operating manual. This Veda is the operating manual. In the next class, we'll see how. And Vedanta is the culmination of this operating manual that reveals the truth of oneself. This is what is the first Prasthana Upanishad. Then the second one is, we'll talk about the third one first. The second one is the Bhagavad Gita. And the third one is called Brahma Sutra, where the ambiguous phrases, words, etc. of the Upanishads are analyzed. First, they are objected to with wrong objections, and then they are analyzed, and our thinking is set straight so that we have a foot in the knowledge, but then we have a certain clarity from the Brahma Sutras. From the reading, from understanding the Brahma Sutras, we get a clarity and a nischalata. We get a abidance in the knowledge. It's like sthanu nikandana nyaya. If you want to make some kind of an awning with 4 poles, sometimes you make a fruit awning, tree awning, leaves awning, or even sometimes you put a cloth for a temporary altar, for a marriage or anything, to have a puja. So you will put the poles in the mud, but you want to make sure it will bear the weight of whatever you're putting on the roof. What do? You shake the pole. Sthanu, pole, shaking. Shaking means you make sure it is steady enough. That sthairya should be there. So therefore, the Brahma Sutra gives that steadiness, because if my own understanding is weak, it will shake. And the study of the Brahma Sutra makes it very, very, very stable. The knowledge gains a certain stability. This is the third Prasthana. The second Prasthana, which we'll be looking at in the next 3 months, is called the Bhagavad Gita. And even though it is, the first one is not authored by human hands, the Brahma Sutra is authored by Bhagavan Vyasa with Adi Shankara's commentary, and so too the Bhagavad Gita. But still, we consider the Bhagavad Gita an Upanishad in its own right. Sometimes it is known as Gita-Upanishad. Gita, which is like an Upanishad. It's a very big epithet for it, very big title. Why is such a big title? Because the subject matter of the Upanishad is very faithfully reproduced in the Bhagavad Gita. In fact, the Bhagavad Gita plagiarizes very well from the Upanishads. Some of the verses are taken verbatim. Sometimes 1 or 2 changes are there, but everything is just as the Upanishad unfolds. The Upanishad is in the form of dialogues, because what we are about to embark on, the study that we are about to embark on, is not something for a matter of belief. You are Satchidananda. Yes, I believe you, Swamini ji. I don't want anybody to say that. No matter how much Shraddha you have, this is not a matter for belief. This is a matter for understanding. Just like the school child must not say, when the teacher says 5 plus 4 is equal to 9, the child should not say, yes, yes, teacher, I believe you. The child should derive that. Similarly, here also a certain taking away, a certain subtraction is involved, a certain addition is involved, everything is involved. Bhaga, tyaga, everything is involved. Implied meaning of the words are involved. So all this has to be, it's a matter for understanding. And so therefore, the Bhagavad Gita is like an Upanishad, because it unfolds the same Tattvamasi, that one is non-separate from Jagat Karanam Brahma, the vision that one is non-separate from the whole, from the cause of the universe. This is what is going to be unfolded. How? We shall see tomorrow. After the prayer, there is some announcements. You please stay for 5 minutes. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Sanskrit.